Hello, welcome to my video on Renè Descartes, the father of modern philosophy. Renè Descartes was born on the 31st of March 1596 in La Haye in Touraine, a small town in central France, which has since been renamed after him to honor its most famous son. He was the youngest of 3 children, and his mother died within his first year of life. His father, a council member in the provincial parliament, sent the children to live with their maternal grandmother, where they remained even after he remarried a few years later. His father was very concerned with them receiving a good education and sent Renè at age 8 to boarding school at the Jesuit College of Henry IV in La Flèche, several miles to the north, for 7 years. Renè Descartes. The subject he studies, such as rhetoric, logic, and the mathematical arts, which included music and astrology, as well as metaphysics, natural philosophy, ethics, equipped him well for his future as a philosopher. He later earned a baccalaureate in law at the University of Poitiers, following his father's wish of him becoming a lawyer. Descartes spent much of his life on the move. He lived for 20 years of his later life in various locations in Holland. He also studied and taught mathematics there. He found he could work better in Holland with fewer distractions than in France. Some of Descartes' greatest accomplishments. Descartes is considered by many to be the father of modern philosophy because his ideas departed widely from current understandings in the early 17th century, which were more feelings-based. While elements of his philosophy weren't completely new, his approach to them was. Descartes believed in basically clearing everything off the table, all preconceived and inherited notions, and starting fresh, putting back one by one the things that were certain, which he began with the statement, "I exist." From this sprang his most famous quote, "Cogito ergo sum," which means, "I think, therefore I am." Descartes is considered a key figure in the scientific revolution of the 17th century. Descartes has significant accomplishments in 3 areas: the scientific method, analytical geometry, and philosophy. He published his ideas in Discours de la méthode, discussion of the method, la géométrie, geometry, les méthodes, meteorology, and la dialectique, optics. The first 2 of these works contained his most significant contributions to science. One of his main lines of thought was skepticism, that everything could be doubted until it could be proven. His main ideas for scientific progress were: 1. Never accept anything as true until all reasons for doubt can be ruled out. 2. Divide problems into as many parts as possible and necessary to provide an adequate solution. 3. Thought should be ordered, starting with the simplest and easiest to know, ascending little by little and step by step to more complex knowledge. 4. Make enumeration so complete and review so general that nothing is omitted. Descartes is regarded as one of the greatest philosophers of all time, particularly for the statement "Cogito ergo sum." Descartes regarded the statement as the unshakable foundation that all philosophy could be built on. This was published in his most famous philosophical work, Meditations on First Philosophy, published in 1641. Descartes falls under the rational school of thought. Because of his means of thinking and knowing, Descartes is considered a rationalist, one who considers knowledge as metaphysical, existing separate from physical reality, and that truth can be acquired through the senses, but that truth cannot be acquired through the senses, but through intellect and deductive reasoning. Descartes' unique way of thinking has been described as Cartesian skepticism. This is a form of rationalism which aims to analyze all knowledge using intellectual reasoning. Cartesian skepticism was Descartes' abandonment of scholastic Aristotelianism, which was based on empiricism. Descartes is very relevant for economic thought for many reasons. Descartes' rationalist teachings had a significant impact on various parts of economic thought. Descartes' scientific approach to perceiving the world was a huge breakthrough for all thought, but this had particular effects on economists as it became key to the methodology of economic science. The first economists all have proven to be successors of Descartes, such as the presence of Homo economicus, which refers to an idealized person who acts rationally with perfect knowledge and aims to maximize personal utility, forms the basic assumption of many economic models. The mathematical side of the economic man, particularly his side which aspires to use money in the most economically beneficial way, was based on Cartesian ideas. Descartes differs a lot in his understanding of knowledge from David Hume and Locke, particularly in the fact that Descartes believed that knowledge was innate. Hume, on the other hand, believed that we cannot have knowledge of the world, but it is possible to have knowledge of ourselves, and believed that knowledge could be derived from impressions. Locke, on the other hand, similar to Aristotle, believed that nothing is innate, and knowledge could only be obtained from our senses and our experiences.